6 o'clock on Friday, the 11th of October 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to the English edition of Ora News. My name is Alexandra, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news translated into English. The initiation of procedures for the dismissal of the President may not be justified as he has not committed serious constitutional violations despite having exceeded his competencies by cancelling the elections. This is the essence of the Venice Commission's final report adopted after 2 hours of plenary sessions in the presence of the Socialist Party representatives in the position of the requesting party and the President's institution who upheld the head of state's decision to cancel the process for June 30. Although the President may have exceeded his constitutional competencies by cancelling and postponing the local elections beyond the electoral mandate of the local authorities without a specific legal basis, these acts might not meet the requisite criteria of sufficient seriousness in the circumstances to warrant the impeachment of the President, said the Venice Commission. On the other hand, the chair of the Socialist Party parliamentary group, Talon Bala, expressed his conviction that the President violated the Constitution by cancelling the local elections. The President of the Republic has made no attempt for dialogue between the parties. By cancelling the June 30 elections, the President has also violated the right to choose and to be chosen, said Bala. Following the statements by Talon Bala, presidential spokesperson Teddy Blushi ridiculed the proposals by the head of the socialist group to the Venice Commission via a post on Facebook. Talon Bala's proposals were mocked by everyone in the Venice Commission. Blushi reiterated that the President has not violated the Constitution. As for the President, the matter is crystal clear. 0 violations of the Constitution. At the Venice Commission, the Socialist Party was represented by Talon Bala and the head of the Inquiry Commission, Ulsi Manja. While in support of the President, Cabinet Director Arben Sitsi, Legal Advisor Bledar Dervishi and Integration Advisor Ilda Julali all gave their arguments. The final report of the Venice Commission is expected to be published on Monday. The head of the Albanian state has been critical of second-tier banks regarding the effect their lack of lending has on the economy. During a speech for the conference of the Bank of Albania, the President of the Republic, Ilir Meta, stressed that to increase the effectiveness of banks in Albania, the judicial system and the rule of law are important. It remains a concern that banks in Albania have very low effectiveness in the economy. They lend at a very low percentage of their deposits, said Meta. Meanwhile, the Bank of Albania Governor, Gen Seiko, stressed the need for the realisation of economic growth reforms. Long-term economic growth must be anchored in ongoing structural reforms. The public authorities find it impossible to predict and completely avoid shocks, said Seiko. The Minister of Finance emphasised the fight against informality that his ministry has undertaken. Increasing the competitiveness of medium-sized businesses in Albania is just as important. The formalisation of the economy is just as important, and access to finance comes as a necessary element to make this growth sustainable in the medium term, said Minister Denai. Personalities and experts of economics were present at the conference, which focused on the importance of the financial system for both the economic development of the countries of the region and for integration into European society. Three leaders of the Western Balkan countries, those being the Albanian, North Macedonian and Serbian Prime Ministers, have decided not to wait for the European Union to facilitate the movement of people and goods. Although Kosovo was missing, the Serbian President Vučić signed a joint statement demanding membership of all 6 Western Balkan countries. This meeting has not come out of nowhere and does not aim for any exclusivity. It is, on the contrary, a step towards achieving the goal of a more collaborative process. We should do more without expecting from others in the function of our people and free movement, said Prime Minister Rama. Although Kosovo was missing, the Serbian President Vučić signed a joint statement demanding membership of all 6 Western Balkan countries. They shook hands in Serbia's Novi Sad, signing an agreement on the creation of the Western Balkan mini Schengen. At the joint conference, they stressed that they are eagerly awaiting EU membership, but this will not stop them from taking initiatives themselves to improve the lives of their citizens. Zaev, for his part, said that the 4 freedoms under which the agreement was signed are the basis on which the EU rests, and that the Western Balkan countries have a lot of untapped potential. This initiative is a political step to relaxing relations in the region. The Balkans is no longer a gunpowder barrel as it was in the 19th century. This is a 21st century Balkans focused on peace, stability, economic development, integration, and the improvement of quality of life, Zaev said. Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić stressed that the initiative would improve the economy of the 3 states. We are all on our way to the European Union. We support each other and we decided to do something for ourselves, to decide our own destiny and to decide for ourselves what we can do for our citizens and not to wait for what others can do. Why not do it ourselves and why not do more? Who's stopping us? The Western Balkan leaders announced that there will be concrete proposals at the next meeting in Ohrid, which will have to be fulfilled by 2021. In the joint statement signed at the end of the meeting, they said people would be able to work anywhere in the region and that their degrees will be recognised. During 2018 alone, unfair dismissals by the administration cost the state budget around 1.6 billion lek. Given this, the State Audit Director, Lindita Lati, has called on institutions to be careful when dismissing individuals from their duty. The public-private partnership projects continue to be one of the main concerns of the High State Control, who have requested care be taken when approving projects without funding. The Economy Committee head, Arben Ahmetai, urged the Finance Ministry to approve the increase for pensioners this year, as this was an electoral promise. Among other things, the High State Control urged the government and the Finance Ministry not to create further arrears, as this damages the business climate. Yet again, today's meeting of the High Council of the Prosecution did not see an agreement reached for the approval of the regulations for scoring and ranking candidates for the position of Chief Prosecutor. This is due to some changes proposed by the High Council of the Prosecution members during the discussions of the meeting. According to the law on the organisation and functioning of the prosecution, the criteria that are evaluated are professional, moral, organisational and managerial criteria, as well as additional elements of evaluation of academic titles, training and knowledge of foreign languages. Furthermore, the scoring of candidates for Chief Prosecutor remains hostage to the appeal filed by the disqualified candidate, Lulzim Alushai, in the Administrative Court, which will be reviewed on Tuesday, October 16. The scoring process will determine who will be the first on the list of 3 candidates to be submitted to the Assembly for voting. Parliament must then, by a majority vote, select one of the 3 names sent by the High Council of the Prosecution for approval. Should a majority vote not be naturally achieved, the Chief Prosecutor will be elected as whoever is the first on the list. On the other hand, the partial list of 12 candidates admitted to the School of Magistrates was approved during the meeting. About 700 students of the Faculty of Geology and Mining will begin class on Monday, October 14, albeit under altered conditions. 3 weeks after the rain floods, the 3rd floor of the institution remains out of function. There are 7 halls on this floor, 4 lecture halls and 3 seminar halls, which are not in suitable conditions to host students. The lesson will take place on the 1st and 2nd floor of the less damaged faculty, as well as in the building where the School of Magistrates is located. Asked by Ora News, the faculty leaders say they are considering the possibility of developing 2-shift teaching because of the lack of halls. But the decision will be made after October 28, the day the 2nd cycle of study begins. Currently, the work at the Faculty of Geology and Mining is concentrated on the 3rd floor, which has suffered significant damage after earthquakes and floods in September. The workings are partial and aimed at isolating the roof so as to prevent the penetration of rain. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Ora News, thank you and good night.